Hello, everyone. Welcome to Therapeutic Yoga class today. So we're going to enjoy an entire therapeutic yoga class on the digestive system, or the gastrointestinal system as it is formally known. So what we want to work on today is basically generally making that system more efficient, more mobile and motile. So before we get started in our class today, I want to take a couple minutes to mention some precautions related to potential GI issues that you do want to be careful with if you are practicing certain types or certain things in yoga. So I kind of have a list in my head that I want to review with everyone as far as, hey, if you've got this condition with your gastrointestinal system, just be cautious of these certain things when you are regularly practicing your yoga. So the first one, and I think probably the most important one to begin with, is diarrhea. So if you are someone that is unfortunately dealing with diarrhea, or maybe intermittently having diarrheal type of issues, so that could be related to some sort of gastritis. It might be related to some sort of inflammatory bowel type of condition. You really want to make sure that you're not increasing the motility and the mobility, right? So that's one of the main conditions with the GI system, that maybe a lot of movement of yoga is not a good idea. But in particular, you really want to avoid any sort of twisting that's going to wring out those small intestines, those large intestines, and potentially make those issues worse. So with inflammatory type of issues, diarrhea type of issues, you're really in your best interest to do more gentle based yoga that is just simply working on creating a little bit of elongation and some nice good breathing. So what we're going to do today will not be contraindicated if you are dealing with any of those inflammatory bowel type of issues. Now, on the flip side, if you are someone that tends to be a little bit more solid, and I mean constipation when I say that, then yoga really is something that can help that, particularly because you are moving your abdominal contents in 3 planes of motion. Specifically, any sort of twists and rotations for constipation are a fabulous idea. We will do some gentle twists today so that we don't stir up some GI systems, but that will be very helpful for others that are more constipated. One rule of thumb, however, when it does come to those individuals that are constipated, is you don't want to do any sort of inversions. And so what I mean by an inversion is something where you're allowing yourself to be upside down. So downward dogs, or laying back and down on the bolsters, those types of things can be problematic if you have constipation, because you can be stopping things from continuing to be stuck. If you are someone that has recently had a colonoscopy or some sort of abdominal surgery where you've got pokes and cuts and all of those types of things, it really is recommended not to do any yoga where you're laying on your belly. So laying prone on your yoga mat. With that position, the other thing that I would say you want to be careful with is those individuals that might have inguinal hernias or abdominal hernias. Doing anything where you're laying on your stomach and doing any sort of pushing up or pressing up is really not a good idea, as well as anything where you're doing any sort of crunching or tight abdominal contractions. So those are the main things I wanted to kind of mention related to GI issues. The very final one, and this is actually where we're going to begin our class today, is GERD, reflux, esophagitis. If you are someone that particular type of condition is a problem with, then please make sure before you practice your yoga class, you're not eating any major amount of food that you're going to have to be contending with, or that you have drank a lot of fluid. So it is recommended, if you've got reflux, esophagitis, or any sort of GERD, to avoid any major fluids or food for about 2 hours before you practice any type of yoga. Okay, I think I've finished my list. Let's move on with working on today's class. So this class is pretty simple. We're starting at the top. and we're moving down to the bottom. So with that being said, let's begin with what is called our oral pharynx, also known as your mouth area, where you breathe, where you eat. And we're going to begin with addressing the most important muscle of that area. You've got it. It's called the genioglossus. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's the tongue. So get yourself in a nice, good seated position. Have your legs in an easy pose, unless that's not comfortable for your hips and back. And if it isn't, then gently just let your legs kind of rest out straight in front of you. Once you have that yourself in that position, just take an opportunity to do a couple of pelvic tuck and tilts. Make sure you feel like your spine and your pelvis is in a good neutral position, and lengthen that spine nice and tall. And then just weight shift from your hips a little bit forward so that you feel some weight into your legs. Let's take our hands today and just bring them out to the side of us. Turn the palms behind you. Take a quick second right here just to shrug your shoulders up, turn those palms more, and then pull those shoulder blades down. Keeping that squeeze between the shoulder blades, just lay your hands back onto your thighs, palms up or palm down, whichever you prefer. And then lengthen through your neck and settle through your chin. Right. So we're going to start with a great strengthening exercise for your tongue. This actually comes from the physical therapy world with a person called Rockabato. So it's really to kind of strengthen and relieve tension in the TMJ joints as well. So take the tongue and place the tip of the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Connect that tongue, the very tip of it, up with the roof of that mouth. As you get your tongue up there, and what I want you to work on doing is slowly opening your mouth, but not any further than that tongue losing its touch with the tip of the roof of your mouth, and then very slowly close your mouth again. So this is kind of what it looks like. Nice and simple, but some of the reasons that we have difficulty getting our food down and initiating that swallowing response can be because our oral pharynx is getting weak. All right, so let's do that 5 times and see if you can move your jaw, strengthen your tongue, and breathe all at the same time. So tongue to the tip of the roof of the mouth. Take an inhale through your nose, open your mouth. Exhale, close your mouth. Inhale, open your mouth. Exhale, close your mouth. Inhaling, open. Exhaling, close. One more time. Inhaling, open. And exhaling, close. Beautiful. So nice, simple, easy exercise to strengthen through that tongue. All right, let's move ourselves to the back of our throat. So where our esophagus begins, which is back here in our oral pharynx. So a lot of times when we have really bad neck posture, this area gets weakened and shortened. So what we want to do is a nice, easy exercise to lengthen through our neck and strengthen through the front of our throat, which will allow our esophagus to work more easily. Remember, the esophagus is a smooth muscle, which means we don't have volitional control of it, but we do have control of the muscles that sit in front of it. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Take your left hand, place your left hand behind your neck, and place your fingers against the back of your spine. In that position, allow yourself to lengthen your neck, gently push your spine into your fingers, while at the same time, you're gently pushing your fingers into your spine. All right, now that you've got that, take the right thumb and place the right thumb underneath your chin. So underneath that mandible bone, the tongue, place it up and place into the roof of the mouth so that the tip of the tongue is touching the back of the top teeth. Now, in that position, lengthen your neck, settle your chin into your throat. Slowly try to push your thumb up, but don't let your chin move. And then at the same time, gently try to push the fingers of your left hand forward to engage the muscles of your neck. All right, you are there. Let's see if we can combine that strengthening exercise with diaphragmatic breathing. So take a nice deep inhale into your belly and exhaling. Nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling, pull that chin down with the thumb, ladies and gentlemen. One more time. Deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling. Beautiful. I don't know if, like you, while you were practicing at that home, you even felt your pelvic floor contracting, because that's how important strengthening those muscles are to your digestive system. All right. So with that same problem of forward head posture weakening through the front of the neck, oftentimes what happens is our esophagus starts to get shorter. It is a smooth muscle. So as that esophagus starts to get shorter, it can create issues like hiatal hernias, where all of a sudden we're getting less length of our esophagus as we keep ourselves in this position too long. So let's do a nice, easy stretch of our esophagus and the front of our neck. So take your right hand and place your right hand on your sternum bone. So make sure your entire palm is underneath your clavicles. And then once you have that there, take your left hand and stack your left hand on top of your right hand. Now, allow yourself in this position to gently let your rib cage fall downward, kind of like you're doing a little bit of an abdominal curl, but nothing aggressive. Remember, we don't want to irritate other GI issues. As you do that, what I want you to do is gently gaze down forward in front of you. Hold those hands down, pull downward with those hands, lengthen your neck a little bit, settle your chin. And here's what you're going to do. Swallow. As you swallow, you'll feel a little bit of a pull right at that sternum where you're stretching that esophagus as you pull the esophagus up and you're pulling the rib cage down. So keeping that neck long, keeping that chin gently tucked, push downward with those hands. Let's give yourself a nice, good swallow here. Very good. Get some extra spit in that mouth if you can, because we're going to try it one more time. So push downward with the hands. Gaze forward, lengthen the neck, settle the chin. One final time here. Let's get a swallow in. You've got it. Okay, now keep the pushing down with the hands. Lengthen through the back of the neck. Now, very gently and slowly, not creating any neck pain, can you take your chin and slowly begin to lift your chin up towards the ceiling? You will start to feel that stretch through the front of your neck, through your sternocleidomastoid muscles, through all of those muscles of the front of the neck. But guys, more importantly, for your digestive system, you are creating some beautiful length to that esophagus. Holding yourself in that position, do not let yourself be in any sort of neck pain. Take a nice, slow, deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. And one more time here. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Gently bringing the neck back to the center, relaxing the hands from the chest. And for those of you that might have neck problems, we don't want to create a neck problem fixing the digestive system today. So let's go through one more time, strengthening through the front of that neck. Let's just change up which hands we use with which position. So right fingers this time, place them behind the back of your neck. And once you have yourself in that position, left thumb goes underneath that chin, underneath that mandible. Get yourself in that nice, good lengthened position of your neck. Gently settle your chin into your throat, tongue to the roof of the mouth with the tip of the tongue touching the back teeth, gazing slightly down and forward here. Start to gently push the back of the neck into the fingers as you push the fingers into the back of the neck. And gently keeping that chin downward, try to lift that thumb upward until you feel those muscles contracting. All right, let's do a nice deep inhale into the belly here. And exhaling out. One more time, nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. And slowly releasing. All right, esophagitis, reflux, hiatal hernias, gastroesophageal reflux disease, lots of big names, right? I've already told you what we want to make sure that we don't do is any major forceful abdominal exercises, but sometimes being able to create space where your stomach is. So if you can take your left hand and place your left hand to the bottom of your left rib cage, that's where your stomach is. Wherever your long middle finger is touching towards the center of your rib cage right now, that's probably pretty close to where your esophageal sphincter is, which is the end of the esophagus, the beginning of the stomach. So sometimes if we can get in there and hold on to that area, we can stretch our esophagus from the bottom rather than what we just did, which is stretch it from the neck. So let's give that a try now. So very gently, do not roll your pelvis back. Try to keep your pelvis in a neutral position, but very gently let your rib cage curl down and forward, kind of like you're taking your shoulders towards your knees. Now take some fingers and come to the center of your belly, right at the point below where you feel your rib cage bones. Don't be pressing so hard that you feel a lot of tenderness, but just gently press down and inward with your fingers. All right. So remember, the esophagus is all the way up here. So in that position, keeping that rib cage curled downward, can you kind of pull your fingers downward towards your pelvis? Then start to gently lengthen through your neck. Maybe gently bring the chin upward. Maybe gently lift the chin upward. And then if you don't feel any major tugging at this point, maybe even start to lift the chest a bit upward. I just had a nice good burp. I don't know about you guys, but I just got a nice good stretch in my esophageal sphincter, said, all right, let me get some air out of your stomach. So hold yourself in that position, guys, and then take a nice deep inhale into your belly. And then exhaling out. One more time, nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. And then slowly release that pressure from that point where the esophagus becomes the stomach, and then sit yourself back up again. All right, so we've already done a lot for the very first part of our digestive system or gastrointestinal system, which is our oral pharynx, our mouth, and our neck and our esophagus downward all the way until now we're getting into the abdominal region. So let's just quickly go over where the guts are so that you understand the order of what we're going to do next. So left hand, place it on that left rib cage area. That's your stomach. Right hand, place it on that right stomach area or right abdominal area. It's where the beginning of your small intestine is. From there, left hand down to the bottom part of the left stomach, more small intestine. Right hand down to the bottom on the right side, guys, more small intestine. We have lots of small intestine, and we need to, particularly if we have mobility or motility issues, we need to get that moving. So rotations really help with those small intestines, which is what we're going to do next. But before we do that, take your right hand, come to your right pelvic bone, and lay your hand all the way up on the right side of your body. That is your ascending colon, the beginning of your large intestine. From there, switch your right fingers and just turn them sideways so they're pointed towards the left side of you. That is your transverse colon. Finally, left hand, point the fingertips down all the way to that left hip pointer, your descending colon, which magically ends off going down into your sigmoid colon and your rectum, which we're not going to worry too much about today. All right, so that is what we have left to do in class. So let's begin with those small intestines and start doing some gentle little wringing out of those groups of the digestive system. So left hand, place it to your right knee. Right hand, gently bring it behind you. Now in that position, take a deep inhale and gently lengthen and sit nice and tall up. And then as you exhale, very lightly and gently twist a little bit towards the right. You want to get that esophagus involved, lengthen the neck, settle the chin, turn the chin towards the right shoulder. Holding right there, give me a nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. One more time, nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Slowly bringing the head back to the center and then de-rotating the trunk. All right, let's twist it in the opposite direction. Right hand, left knee, left hand behind you. Take a nice deep inhale and lengthen nice and tall. And then as you exhale, gently twist, no pain and no tension, just a gentle twist of those small intestines. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin. Let's get the stomach and esophagus involved. So gently rotate the chin towards the left shoulder. All right, 2 big breaths here. Nice deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. One more time. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Slowly unrotate the neck and the esophagus first, and then unrotate all of those small intestines. All right, now we're going to do one final thing for the colon. Remember, it starts at the right, comes up, goes over and down in sitting before we change our position. So take your left hand, place your left hand on the floor beside your yoga bolster, sit down into your right sit bone. Let's lengthen the colon in the direction of its output. Right hand out to the side of your body, take a nice deep inhale and lift that arm up into the air. And as you exhale, gently side bend over. Hopefully you can find length all the way down to that right sit bone. Check in that your right armpit is pointed upwards towards the ceiling. Now take a nice deep, slow inhale into that right side of your body. And exhaling out. One more time, nice deep inhale in. And exhale out. Right hand, inhale, lifting it up. And then exhale, dropping it down. Let's repeat that on the opposite side. So right hand comes down onto the floor, left hand out to the side, sit down into that left sit bone. Take an inhale, lift that left hand up, and then exhale, side bend over. Rib cage is kind of getting nice and lengthened here. Thinking about that descending colon, the part that's going all the way down and out. So in this position, turn that armpit up. Take a nice deep inhale here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhale, lifting that left arm up. Exhale, dropping that hand down. All right. So we are going to switch up onto our hands and knees. But here's what I'd like you to do. Gently get yourself onto your hands and knees. Move your bolster off to the side for a little bit. We're not done with it. We're going to use it again. Get your knees hip distance and then kind of look back and see that your feet line up with your knees. And take a moment just to sit down into child's pose. So just drop your sit bones towards your heels. Gently let all of that digestive system start to compress against your thighs. And then in that position, see if you can get nice, good length of your neck. Settle the crown of your head to the floor, chin to your chest. And just drop your elbows downward towards the floor. Now gaze back at your toes here. A gentle compression here of the gastrointestinal system. Take a nice, slow, deep inhale into your belly. And then really slowly exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into that belly. Massaging all of those guts. And then even slower exhaling out. And then gently bringing yourself up onto your hands and knees. Using cat-cow pose here to get some nice good length through the esophagus, nice good length through the stomach. So again, for those individuals with reflux or esophagitis or any of that, creating extension. So cow pose can really help kind of stretch that esophagus out. So let's go through some cat-cows here. Check in that your hips are stacked perfectly on top of your knees and your wrists and elbows are underneath your shoulders. And then in this position, allow yourself to drop your belly down, lift your tailbone up, really drop your rib cage and squeeze your shoulder blades today. And then think about the front of that neck and think about lengthening the front of that neck as you lift that chin up. Nice, good length to that esophagus there. And then as you exhale, create the shortness all the way through that esophagus. So stretch the shoulder blades away from one another, chin to chest. Can you gaze into that belly button? Let's do that one more time for the esophagus. So really letting yourself drop all the way down into cow pose, but focusing on pulling those shoulder blades back and down as you drop that rib cage, lengthening the front of that neck and chin coming up. And then as you exhale, shortening that entire part of our digestive system, really allowing the chin to come into the chest, gazing into the belly button. One more time, this time, really begin to focus on the abdominal area. So can you drop the belly down as much as you can and lift that tailbone up and really create pulling of the rib cage forward? And then as you exhale, can you pull that abdomen up and in, really tuck that tailbone, rib cage comes down towards that pelvis. Very nice. Slowly keep that compression and gently sit back into child's pose, just dropping your crown of your head for one breath here, giving those wrists a break. Nice deep inhale here. And exhaling out. And then slowly coming back up and getting back into those small intestines for a second, right? So again, twisting. This is a great direction or a great position to do some light twisting to get motility and mobility improved because your guts are generally working with gravity here. So allow yourself just to let your belly relax, but don't slump through your spine. So keep your spine in a nice, good neutral position, but relax through your abdominals. Let go. Then with your right hand, take an inhale and lift it up. Can you lift and reach and lengthen and gently twist through that side? And then as you exhale, can you sweep that hand down and under and twist in the opposite direction? Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reaching that arm up. And exhale, twisting counter, going all the way towards that left side. Beautiful. Taking the right hand onto the yoga mat now. Left hand is the hand that's moving. Make sure you're not in flexion or extension of your spine. So have your spine nice and in neutral. Take that inhale, lift that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, counter that twisting, slide that left hand down and underneath. You kind of thread the needle, but we're not going into the full pose. Inhaling, lengthening as you lift up to the left. And exhaling, slowly dropping as you go towards the right. Beautiful job. Bringing the left hand back onto the floor, making sure that you feel like your wrists and your elbows are underneath your shoulders. And then one nice little stretch for our colon here before we change positions. So you always want to start with the right side of your colon and then move to the left side of the colon second. So take your feet and sweep your feet off the mat to the left side. So get that little side bend of that beginning of your colon where your ileocecal valve is. So allow yourself to kind of sweep the feet there. Then allow yourself to take your right hand and reach the right hand off into the left side of your yoga mat. So you're in some nice, good left side bending here. So we're really focusing on that right side of the digestive system here. All right. Small amounts of cat-cows are what you want to do here. So take an inhale and let the belly sink. And then as you exhale, tuck that tailbone and try to pull that belly up. You got it. Increasing motility and mobility. Inhaling, dropping it down. Exhaling and pulling it up. Very nice. Slowly bring the right hand back so it lines up under the right shoulder. Then sweep the feet all the way to the left side. So now taking the left side of the colon and working through it. So really get that nice side bend with your feet. Then take the left hand and reach the left hand off the right side of your yoga mat. All right, same idea here. So you're just doing some gentle cat-cows to really kind of create that motility through the left side of the colon. So take an inhale, sink the belly, allow the tailbone to lift, and then as you exhale, gently start to pull that up. One more time. Inhale, sink the belly, lift that tailbone, and then as you exhale, curling that up. You got the idea. Beautiful. Gently bring the left hand back underneath the left shoulder. Unsweep the feet. Once you've got your feet back to the center position, one more gentle compression and breathing through our abdominals before we change position. So allow yourself here to take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, tuck the tailbone under, arch through the back, sit back onto the heels. Slowly let that belly compress downward onto the thighs. Can you even shorten that esophagus and get the crown of your head towards the floor? And gaze straight back at those feet. Make sure they haven't lost their alignment, and take a nice, slow, deep inhale into the belly here. And exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Gently coming up out of your child's pose. Okay, back to the bolster. So what I want you to do is take your bolster and place your bolster in the center of your yoga mat. Once you have it in that position, allow yourself to lay down on your left side. So remember, we talked about when we're treating or taking care of our colon health, meaning the movement of everything inside of our large intestines, you always want to start with the right side first. So make sure you have yourself positioned so that your left hip is down. All right, now in this position, find your left hip pointer and place it pretty close to next to that bolster area. Once you have yourself there, we're going to create nice, good length through this right side of our large intestine. So gently allow yourself to lay over the bolster. Now, you really want to kind of create that side bending over the bolster. So you should be in a left side bending position here. Nice to kind of support the head with the left hand. The left hand isn't going to be doing anything. If your neck is good enough that you're not worried about it and you want to create some additional length in your neck, then just kind of let your left hand hang out in front of you and drop the side of your head down towards the floor. Do what your orthopedic system can take without any pain or tension in your neck. Now, in this position, we want to kind of create length through this entire side of our large intestine. So we'll pull it from the top and we'll also pull it from the bottom. So right hand, lift it up into the air, take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just reach that hand up and over you. Then with your right leg, inhale it, bring it up in the air. And then as you exhale, kick it out. There's the length. Now, drop the right foot down. Make sure your left knee is touching the bolster. So we don't want any crazy rotation of our lumbar spine here. Allow yourself with your right leg to slide your right leg back off of the yoga mat. You'll begin to feel that length right through the hip flexors and that lower part of the beginning of your large intestine. Okay, you're there. Now, in this position, can you please check in that you haven't rolled yourself back? So your hips should still be stacked one on top of the other. Your right knee is still straight. Your left knee is still touching the bolster. All right, let's go through 3 really nice, deep belly breaths, diaphragmatic breaths into that right large intestine. So take a nice, deep inhale into your belly and exhaling out. Slow inhale right into that belly, focusing on that right side. And exhaling out. One more time. Nice, deep inhale in. and exhaling out. Gently slide the right leg back onto your yoga mat. And then take an inhale, lift the leg up in the air. And then as you exhale, sweep it in and place it on top of the left knee. Right hand, inhale it up in the air. And then as you exhale, relax it down onto your yoga mat. Allow yourself to use that right hand on that bolster and take an inhale and push yourself up onto your left elbow. All right, so can you see as we rest ourselves on our left elbow here, now we're shortening through that ascending colon. So we're really creating a nice good push of all of the stuff that's in there. So again, like we talked about, this is about movement, improving efficiency of the digestive system. If you've already got problems, don't want to make it worse. So if you at home are practicing with me and you know you've got some diarrhea type of symptoms, you might want to stay away from doing this next thing that we do. But here's what I want you to do now. Take your right hand and just gently place it up and over your head so that you can just let your head relax into your hand. Let go of your neck muscles because it's not about your neck muscles right now. Kind of push your left elbow into the floor so you feel engagement through your left shoulder blade. All right, so your knees are stacked and they're at that hip distance. So let's use those abdominal muscles to push some guts up and move those large intestines on that ascending colon. So keeping your upper body where it is right now. Can you take an inhale and attempt to lift your feet up off the floor? You'll squeeze through those hip flexors and those lateral abdominals and push all of the stuff that's in your ascending and colon up. Good. And then can you exhale and drop that down? Let's try that 2 more times. Just support your head here. Keep yourself in this side bending position. Can you inhale and lift those feet up and push all of that stuff out of your large intestine, and exhale and drop it down. 1 more time. Inhale, lift and push up. And then as you exhale, relax it down. You've got it. Take that right hand onto the bolster. Nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, push yourself up. Now, before we get on to the descending colon, the left side that pushes everything down and out of the digestive system, I want us to take a minute to do something really nice for the transverse colon, the part that kind of, can get pretty congested and slow its movement in a lot of people, particularly if you're someone that has a lot of visceral fat. So you've got a lot of inflammatory tissue around your gut area. So here's what I want you to do. Allow yourself to turn so that the bolster is behind you. And there is about a hand width distance between your back and the bolster. When you have yourself there, bend your knees and keep your feet flat onto the floor. Take your hands to the underside of your thighs and slowly let yourself lower yourself down onto the bolster. Now, check in that your bolster's hitting you at the lower ribs. You want to make sure you're not in your low back here, but in your lower ribs. Once you're there, allow yourself to take a hand, rest it behind your neck so that your neck is not having any sort of injury trying to stretch out through your transverse colon here. And then take the other hand behind your neck and then very gently and slowly backward bend over that bolster. Now, if you feel any sort of tension in your low back, just gently tuck your tailbone under and engage a little bit into your abdominals. We're not trying to injure a low back here. We're trying to create mobility through the transverse colon. All right, now in this position, your feet are about hip width distance. What I want you to do is think about where your rib cage and your stomach meet on the right side. Take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just gently let your knees fall to the right. Think about that area being squished out as you're moving everything to the left side. Take an inhale, lift the knees back up. And then as you exhale, slowly let the knees fall to the left side. Let's do that 1 more time. Inhaling, knees up. Head is supported by your hands and your neck is supported by your hands. Exhale, let your knees fall to the right side. Inhaling, lifting up. And then exhaling, letting your knees fall to the left side. So just pushing and moving all of the stuff that is in your transverse colon. Inhale your knees back up. Now, use your hands behind your neck and your head. Make sure your neck is long, your chin is settled into your throat. Gently use your abdominal muscles to curl yourself up. Compress all of those tissues out. Reach your hands to the backside of your thighs and gently pull yourself back up into a seated position. You've got it. Okay, we've got one part left to do, and that is the descending colon. So allow yourself to position yourself so that you are about a hand width or so away from the bolster with the right hip pointed down. Once you feel like you're there, just kind of shimmy yourself so that you're real close to that bolster, but you're not letting the pelvis block by the bolster today. So don't have the hip all the way touching, just have it close. Knees are stacked. Then once you have yourself in that position, slowly allow yourself to drop down now on the right side. Get the elbow there first. Make sure you feel like the bolster feels like it's around your rib cage. And then slowly lower yourself down into that right side bend. Support your head if you need to with your hand. If you want to get that elongation through your neck, you can drop your hand in front and slowly allow your head to drop down towards the floor. Now, right knee, bring the right knee up to touch the bolster. Take that left hand up in the air. And then take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, drop that hand up and over. So really starting to feel that length of that beginning of that descending colon. Let's add the leg to this, guys. So inhale, lift the left leg up. And then as you exhale, lengthen that leg out and drop that foot onto the floor. Now, make sure that your pelvis does not roll backwards here. So keep your pelvis stacked. Keep your right knee touching the bolster. But with that left knee straight, slide that left leg back off of the bolster. Feel that length go right into that hip region where the hip flexors are. All right, you're there. So 3 nice, slow, deep inhales and exhales, just like we did on the opposite side. So feel and focus on that breath going into the left side of your body here. Nice, deep, slow inhale in and exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more time. Nice, slow, deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful job. So slide that left back in line with your body and take an inhale, lift the leg up. And as you exhale, sweep it in and stack it on top of the right leg. And then with that left arm, inhale it up in the air. And as you exhale, drop it down on your bolster. Now use the strength of your left arm to push yourself up onto your right arm and get your right elbow stacked underneath your shoulder. Once you're in that position, take that left hand and come up and over that head. Allow the strength of your arm and your wrist and your hand to just gently support your head here. So I want you to try to keep your neck as much in a neutral position as possible, and then push into the left hand to create length through the right side of your body. All right, so we just lengthened through this descending colon. Now we want to squish and push all of the stuff out of it, right? So relax your neck in this position. Keep your head supporting on your neck. Allow yourself to take that inhale and really lift those feet up and pull that pelvis towards that rib cage. You've got it. And then exhale and drop it down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift those heels up, pull that pelvis up, compress through that descending colon. And then exhale, dropping it down. Keep pushing that right elbow down into the floor. Last time here. Inhale, lift those feet up. And exhaling and relaxing down. You've got it. Take the left hand onto the bolster. Nice deep inhale here and exhale. Push yourself up into a seated position. You are officially done with your bolster. So what I want you to do is allow yourself to lay down through your side and then roll yourself over onto your back. All right, so we've done so many marvelous things for our gastrointestinal system already. I want us to end with doing something that is really important, particularly for those individuals that have motility problems with the colon, the large intestine. So this is speaking to those individuals that maybe have intermittent constipation. This is not speaking to those individuals that maybe have more of an inflammatory bowel or a digestive issue of diarrhea. But what I want to do is talk you through self-massage of your colon. So before we do that, let's just loosen up a little bit through our gluteal muscles here. So can you check in that your spine feels like it's in a nice neutral position? Shoulder blades are underneath you. Allow yourself to take your right knee to your chest, hands around that shin bone, nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull your knee into your chest. Nice good squeeze of that right side again. Holding that position, take a deep inhale into your belly. And then exhaling out. One more breath, nice deep inhale in. And exhale out. Gently drop the right foot to the floor and take the left knee to the chest. Countering the same compression, but now on the opposite side of the colon. Keeping yourself right here, take a deep inhale into your belly. And then on the exhale, pull your knee into your chest. All right, one more time. Deep belly breath right into that thigh if you can get it. And then exhaling out. And then gently resting the left foot down onto the floor. Now, take your right hand and find your right hip pointer. That's the beginning of your ascending colon, the beginning of your large intestine. Take a moment here just to gently place your hand into your belly area. So if you're on your hip pointer, allow yourself to come into your belly area and kind of push all of your belly up and into the center of your chest. Maybe even take your left hand and hold that right hand. Now staying right here, just take a quick opportunity to take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, slide that left leg straight down. You'll feel some nice gentle burning under your fingers. That's you opening up all of the connective tissue and fascia between your hip flexors and your guts. Take a nice deep inhale here and exhaling out. And then gently slide the right leg back up and place the foot flat. Now, from that right hip pointer, I want you to gently kind of poke lightly into your belly as you move your fingers one at a time up until you find your right ribs. Once you've gotten there, start back down at that right hip pointer and massage upward one more time. So this is the beginning of what is called the I love you massage for your large intestine. Find the ribs again. Okay, go back down to the hip pointer. Final time here, walk your fingers up as you're gently pushing into your abdomen until you find those right ribs. And now start to walk your fingers as you gently press across that transverse colon until you find your left ribs. You've got it. So this is the love, the L part, right? So the I was the first part. Let's come back down to that right hip pointer and do the L. The L is the second part. One more time. So pushing down at that right hip pointer, slowly pushing as you make your way up to your right ribs, and slowly, gently pushing as you make your way all the way to the left ribs. So we've done two I's, and now we have completed two L's. I love L, U, the letter U. So now we're going to do the full massage through the entire colon. So again, start down at the right hip pointer, slowly begin to push the fingers in as you move up to the right ribs, gently move across the ribs as you're pushing into that transverse colon, get to the left ribs, and slowly walk down to the left hip pointer. There's your entire U. Let's do that one more time. Right hip pointer, walking up all the way to the right ribs, walking across the transverse colon to the left ribs, and finally walking down to the left hip pointer to the bottom of the descending colon. You got it. I love you massage. Now let's end doing something for the very bottom of our large intestine, where our sigmoid colon kind of dives down and becomes our rectum. So nice and easy, just like we did on the right side, kind of take your fingers, find your left hip pointer, come in into your abdominal area, take your fingers and kind of pull your abdomen up and to the center of your belly. Take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, gently slide that left leg down. If you happen to feel a pop when you do that, that is your psoas tendon. It's nice to get that pop gone, but sometimes they are there in individuals that you cannot get it gone. But just hold pulling those guts up and into the center. Take a nice deep inhale here and exhaling out. Keep pulling those guts up and then very gently slide that left leg back up. All right, before we do our final twisting of our digestive system today, let's do one nice good thing for our rectum. The very end of our digestive system. We started with the beginning, we're ending with the end. It just makes sense. So take your right knee to your chest and take your left knee to your chest. Once you have both of your knees to your chest, take your knees and your feet nice and wide. So really imagine that you're creating lots of space through the pelvic area where your rectum is. Now in that position, lengthen your neck, settle your chin. I want you to take a nice deep inhale and imagine the entire pelvic floor spreading apart. And then as you exhale, exhale through your nose, but tighten and tighten and tighten like you'd be doing a Kegel and pull that pelvic floor together. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, spread that floor apart, stretch open that rectum, and exhale. Tighten it up. You've got it, ladies and gentlemen. Gently drop your feet to the floor. Allow your feet to come together in the center of your mat today. Gently place your arms out to the side of you. You can have your arms in T formation, cactus pose formation, even down to the side today. Whatever works for you is perfectly fine. We're going to be ending off with nice, gentle rotations through our abdomen. So not a full spinal twist today, but the spinal twist that's important for our digestive system. So allow yourself to lengthen your neck, settle your chin here. Take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, knees together, gently let your knees fall to the right. And get to wherever your knees can fall together. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Gently take your chin towards your left shoulder. Take a nice deep inhale here. And exhaling out. One more time, deep inhaling in. And exhaling out. Slowly bring your neck back to the center. Take a deep inhale and gently bring the knees back up to the center. And on your exhale, knees together, gently drop the knees to the left. Once you get your knees to their furthest position, keeping your knees together, lengthen your neck, settle your chin, turn your gaze to the right. Nice deep inhale here. And exhaling out. And one more slow, deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Gently bringing your head back to the center. Taking an inhale, slowly rotating those knees back to their upright position. Now keeping your hands where they are, bringing the knees closer to the chest, keeping the knees together. Take a nice deep inhale, and then on the exhale, letting those knees fall to the right. Lengthening the neck, settling the chin, turning the gaze towards the left. Nice deep inhale here. Exhaling out. Slow, deep inhale. And exhaling out. Use all of those abdominals, all of those back muscles to slowly rotate the head back to the center first. And then pull those knees all the way up on an inhale. And then finally, exhaling those knees all the way to the left. Keeping those knees together, lengthening the neck, settling the chin, turning to the right. Deep inhale here. And exhaling out. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Allowing the neck to come to the center using all of those back and neck muscles and pulling those knees back up on an inhale. And then gently dropping your feet to the floor, allowing yourself to slide one leg down to the corner of the mat, followed by the other. Resting yourself in this position, slowly rolling the shoulder blades underneath you. Just taking a couple of slow, deep inhales here. So let your body be still. Take a nice, slow, deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. One more time. Nice, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. Gently wiggle the fingers and toes. Circles with wrists and ankles. And then slide each leg up. Now today, let's let everyone, if you can, roll over to that right side, the beginning of that large intestine. Rest there for a second. Take a nice deep inhale in and then an exhale out. Next breath, on the exhale, top hand, bottom elbow, push yourself up into a seated position, finding easy pose. We did a good job for our digestive system, also known as our gastrointestinal system today. Bring your hands to the center of your heart. Place a nice good smile on your face. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Thank you so much for joining me today.